It's sure starting to feel like midterms time to me. Everyone has so much going on.
I know. That's how I'm starting to feel too. It's also so cold outside, so it sure feels like that time of the semester. So wear a flannel, like me.
Well, let's get to some campus news, because that's what everyone wants to know.
In this Halloween season, check out Halloween Trivia on Wednesday from 12 to 1 p.m. This will be in Stewart Plaza, and correct answers will even be rewarded by a bag of candy.
Along with a theme of relaxation and de-stressing, there will be yoga at the campus farm on Wednesday from 5 to 6 p.m. Make sure to bring your own mat or towel and dress for the weather. If you are off campus, you can also join virtually.
This Halloween-themed activity has to be one of my favorites. It is called a Race to the Spooky End, and is a scavenger hunt based off the Amazing Race. Teams can have a max of 4 people, and those who will complete it will be rewarded with a prize. Come join us on Thursday from 6:30 to 8 at the South Quad patio.
I know how much homework everyone has right now, so it can be so hard to find time to do something fun. For that reason, DePauw Housing and Residence Life will be hosting Nightmare on Locust Street, a pumpkin carving night. This will be on Friday from 7 to 7:45 p.m., and don't forget to RSVP for the in-person session.
I know one of my biggest stress relievers is food.
Definitely.
So I know I'll have to check out the Nacho Mama food truck next Saturday from 9 to 11 p.m.
Shifting gears, as many of you may know, Real Clear Education posted an article online about college free speech rankings at a variety of universities across the country. In 2020, free speech can be tough to navigate, especially during our college years and election seasons.
According to this survey, DePauw ranked last for free speech among the 55 schools and 20,000 students. These statistics come from both sides of the political spectrum.
On that note, we wanted to talk to a media expert about these statistics and how he interprets them. Professor McCall joined us to give his take on these findings.
Hey guys, I'm here with Professor McCall, and we just wanted to kind of check in and see what you thought about the survey that came out about the free speech on DePauw's campus. So what was your initial reaction when you saw that survey, and were you surprised at all?
Well, DePauw doesn't come off very good in that survey, to tell you the truth, and that made me a little sad. But I must say I wasn't particularly shocked at our rating. And by the way, I don't know that we are necessarily we're rated last. I don't know if we deserve to be last, but we do have some concerns, and I think that's a fair thing to say. And that's one thing I would hope that everybody would look at, that is to say, this should be the market speaking to us. There is a message to be had here, and I don't want people to dismiss it. And I don't think saying that we're last out of 55 necessarily is helpful to us, but I think it should at least raise our concern that this is a matter for us to ponder. I teach media law class on our campus. We talk about freedom of expression, the flow of ideas, the flow of information, how information sometimes gets stopped in its flow, or what we sometimes call community censorship, where certain ideas don't circulate because the community doesn't approve or won't allow or will punish people who do want to speak in certain ways. So over the years when I've taught media law class, just anecdotally, students will raise their hands and express a concern that maybe at DePauw, in a particular context, and it could be in a living unit or in a classroom, or maybe just in conversation on campus at the dining hall, or any number of things. There sometimes they don't feel like they get a free shake, I should say, to say what's on their mind, or that they're afraid if they say something that is on their mind that there'll be repercussions, and that could be through social media, that could be getting shamed in class, it could be having somebody scold you or shout you down. And I'm not saying that this happens across the board, but I have had students also express that sometimes they're afraid to express an honestly held opinion or perspective in a classroom because they're fearful of repercussions from other students. And on rare occasions, even people have said, I'm afraid my grade would be hurt, that the professor would disagree with my point of view, and so therefore I don't want to say the wrong thing and then have that hurt me at the end of the semester when I need a good grade in this class or for whatever, okay? Now, again, it's hard for us to put our thumbs on exactly where this happens and why it happens, and I'm not trying to suggest that, there's any sort of organized effort to shut people up. But sometimes there doesn't have to be an organized effort, that kind of culturally there is created a climate in which people just don't feel like they can speak up. And so when that survey result came out, I thought, this kind of reflects what I've heard anecdotally from students over the years. And for the organization that put this report together, okay, and it comes from Real Clear Education, which is not a hardcore ideologically driven organization, okay? It's a division of Real Clear Politics, which is a well-regarded website that deals with the issues of the day from multiple perspectives. So this is not some run-of-the-mill, ideologically driven nutcase or anything like that, okay? Yeah. So I don't think we should dismiss it, but they have a page on this report where if you go into the report, you can find the comments from DePauw students that are actually there, okay? So we have detail from the surveys that were done of DePauw students, and you look at the comments, and they are heartfelt. Some are harsher than others, but I don't think that they're concocted. I don't think these are students with knee-jerk reactions. I think these are students with real concerns, and I think that we should take it seriously and then kind of figure what should be the next step then to address this, because ultimately we need to live in a climate of intellectual inquiry where people feel like they have the power to speak what's on their mind. And sometimes it's important that even unpopular ideas get discussed and explored in a way that people can then reason with them and at least understand where we're coming from.
Yes, I definitely agree with all of that. Going off of that, what would you see as like the next steps, and how can we improve as a result of this finding?
Well, I do think there needs to be a commitment to improving, and I think also to kind of assess where we stand, take our own temperature. It needs to be a campus-wide discussion, frankly. I don't mean that we have like an all day where everybody sits in an auditorium and wrestles with this or something like that. But I think faculty should discuss it. I think student government. I think students outside of student government should have a role in the discussion as well. But in terms of the long-term vision and trajectory of the institution, the Board of Trustees should have a role in that. So I hope that the Board of Trustees will also have a discussion. Now, in terms of a concrete step, I don't want to get ahead of myself here, but I think one of the things that should be considered is what is referred to as the Chicago Statement. And a number of years ago, the University of Chicago, with concerns over these kinds of very matters of intellectual inquiry and freedom of expression and academic inquiry, had a group, an organization. They studied and they came up with it's not a huge statement, but a page and a half maybe, where they outlined the principles under which the University of Chicago will operate in terms of allowing and encouraging free expression. And the Chicago Statement has been adopted by a number of universities around the country. Purdue, for example, right up the road from DePauw here, has adopted that. And I think it's at least us worth thinking about that. And also keep in mind, the University of Chicago is really a highly regarded national institution, international reputation in that regard. And the University of Chicago, if anything, is viewed as kind of a left-leaning institution. And so the fact that they are willing to step forward and say, these are the principles, and that we are welcoming wide ranges of inquiry, and we're not going to just necessarily try to shut people up just because it doesn't make some people happy, I think is a statement in the right direction.
Yeah. I definitely hope that this survey brings awareness to this issue and is able to spark some amount of change.
I hope so too.
Yes. Thank you so much for your time, and we
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate your insight.
Thanks for inviting me to chat.
Thank you for joining us tonight, and we hope you are staying warm.
Make sure to take time for yourself and de-stress this weekend. Subscribe to our YouTube page and like us on Facebook.
See you next week, Tigers.